It's Tuesday night. It's 9:30. It's time to go behind the hedges. Welcome back, everybody. We have
Was that
missed
your
you
best
all.
Max Headroom? What are you, Max Headroom over here?
Oh, am I lagging?
Let me get this. Welcome back. It is Tuesday night. I am Matt.
I'm Mitch or Max. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Max Headroom night, baby. Most people ain't even gonna know who that is. But yeah, we're back at it. We told you we was coming back tonight. Took a little summer break, but the season is upon us, and we're gonna dig down into some college football tonight, specifically Georgia. And then we got some picks. We just picked 5 games that we want to discuss lightly, and then pick who and why. How you want to start it off?
Well, before we do anything, we got to do this. Yes.
Yeah. Good to see that again. Good to hear that again.
All right.
Well,
a little bit of housekeeping first. Hold on now. Anybody who wants to join in on this thing tonight, more than welcome to come in here. I'm going to very quickly put the link on the screen here. Let's bring Ethan on here. Hey, welcome there, Papa Gator.
What's up?
What it is.
Yeah, I was just telling the folks that I'm going to put the link on the screen here for. So 1 second, please.
For the hat on. My head's
One moment, please. Yeah. Great. Now I can see again.
Yeah, you're welcome. I got to drop top of every once a week or so, and it's been about a month, and so I wasn't sure how it was gonna handle it, but yeah, that was a cue ball look there.
Yeah, so I'm not going to leave this up the whole time. There's the banner. If you folks want to come on and shoot the breeze with us, or just tell us we're idiots, it doesn't matter. Whatever. You're going to need to put that in your browser. If you're following us on Facebook, just look down in the first comment down below and click that link. Come on. I recommend coming on with earphones, Dren, when you get here.
Yes, Dren, and a microphone or something. And be in a closed room with a closed door.
You mean having 3 laptops in a bar? It doesn't result in glorious audio quality.
Yeah. So I'll pull that out. All right. So just to catch Ethan up on this thing. So what Matt and I did was we sort of went through the list of week 1 games and sort of just found 5 notable games. And so we're gonna do 5 picks a week. Notable in some way, like
there's one that I picked these, and when we get to the ones, you'll know which one is like. I'll explain. There's a reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they're all legit picks, so we'll see. But I figured that over the long haul, over the haul of the season, we'll keep up with everybody's records. Everybody right now is 0-0, and let me just say this too, guys. Man, welcome back, college football.
Man,
dude.
I'm ready. God,
not sure what you guys use to check games out and stuff, but the link I just posted in the chat, it's real good.
What's this
okay.
now?
All right.
CFB.com.
Oh, CFB guide. I have looked at that before. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I'll take a. Should I share this with the people?
I would. I have no personal affiliation to it. I saw it on Reddit and was like, wow, this is all. Because looking at a schedule, it's kind of a pain, but looking at it in this format where you have the channels and the time slots, definitely makes it a lot easier to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, there you go. How's that look, boys? It's probably really, really too small to see.
It looks pretty good.
Can you blow that up?
I'll try. Let's see. Is that doing anything at all?
Yeah, it's zooming in.
Okay. All right, so there, what you have is the channels going down the side over here, time slots going across the top, and you can see on ESPN, for example, at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. That's tomorrow night. You can watch UAB and Jacksonville State. Wait a second.
No, different. Jackson State is Dion.
Jackson State are the Neon Dions.
I believe Jacksonville State is in Mississippi, I believe.
Okay.
And Jackson State's in Alabama, right?
Okay, yeah.
Have them backwards.
Jackson State is that Florence, Alabama?
So Jacksonville State's also in Alabama.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyhow, they're playing UAB tomorrow,
And
7:30 on ESPN.
Jackson State's in Mississippi. Jacksonville State's in Alabama.
Okay.
So
Glad we got all that cleared up.
Where's Dion? Is he at Jackson or Jackson?
He's at Jackson.
Jackson. Okay. All right. So then on Thursday, wow, I didn't realize this was a Thursday game. Ohio State and Minnesota, 8:00. That's a pretty good Thursday night game. Tennessee, Bowling Green.
Tennessee.
Right.
Well, okay.
Yeah, let's see. All right, so I'm gonna I'll take that off. That's a pretty good resource, Ethan. So everybody at home, that's cfb.guide. Type that into your browser and give it a shot. I will definitely be using that this season. So no, I saw another site too, and I wish I'd done my homework a little better, or at least been prepared. I saw one where it put the games up in the order and then it had like spreads and things like that too. Yeah. And I want to say that it was like I think it was Bet Now or something. I don't remember. All right, but it was. I'll find it and then I'll share it with you guys later. So anywho, in the interest of not being on the computer all night long, I feel like we should probably just get into some picks. How do you boys feel about that?
Let's do it.
All right, maybe Dren can come in here and join us soon enough. Maybe anybody can come in. We'd love to have you. I'm going to see what this looks like on the screen because I made these things and that's what I was afraid of. It's going to cover up Ethan's face there. So.
Can we make it smaller? I mean, can we move him around? Oh God, what is happening?
Let's try like this. Okay.
All right.
Gotta sit up straight.
It is what it is. All right.
Okay.
So game 1 of 5. Game 1 of 5 is this Bama versus Canes game. Can you check that guide real fast, Ethan? Are you able to check that CFB guide and see what time this thing comes on?
Let's see if I can.
I think it was a 3:00 game on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. 3 or 4.
3:30. It's like 3:30 on ABC.
3:30 ABC. All right. So Bama is favored by 19.5 over Miami. Who wants to talk? Who wants to talk about this game?
19.5?
Yeah. Where is
that's Miami? Is Miami that bad?
Not to hear their fans tell it.
Well, that's exactly like when I listen to Miami, they're back, baby. Derek King. Derek King is the second. I mean, that's Testaverde.
You know, I wonder. I hate to derail this immediately, but I wonder if they're going to start saying Derek King is Kyle Trask's starter. Remember how they used to always talk about how he was the backup, but now Trask is in the NFL and King's still in college.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what happened. Dude, they went through this kid. Tate Martell went down there, but then he didn't, and then he played tight end or he did something, and now he's like at UNLV or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
What 19.5 though?
Well, they got a really good defensive back, Matt.
Well, they do. That's true. much to our chagrin.
Yeah, our boy Tyreek Stevens decided to go back home.
Yeah. And he was another one that was all Florida, and then he wasn't because we suck.
And let's see who else they got. They do have the ability to run the ball, if I'm not mistaken. All right, but
19.5 points though.
19.5 is a healthy spread. Can Bama cover that? Given that basically their entire offensive squad went to the NFL last year.
To hear their fans tell it, oh yeah, apparently Bryce Young is the second coming of Joe Namath. I mean, this is like both of those fan bases. We don't need to go any further. You know where that's headed. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the funny part is that Bama's won like 7 championships in the past 15 years. Miami hasn't won anything, but their fan bases are equally confident.
2001. 2001 was the last time Miami did something. I mean, Miami was you could trade. I mean, Miami was the Bama of the 80s and some of the 90s, right? And Bama's, you could say they're like that Miami-type dynasty here in the 2000s, 2010.
Bama's definitely been more dominant in a more difficult era.
I think Bama's they've got that all-time slot.
Yeah.
I can see that. I don't know how you can argue it at this point. But Miami had their run. I don't know that I've seen them do anything. Anything.
You boys think Miami's got a shot to win this game?
No.
Yeah.
You do?
You think so?
Okay. Bama is
Okay.
Alabama, but we've seen these types of Alabama teams. This might be one of those 10-2 Bama teams, maybe even a 9-3 Bama team. Maybe they're another 12-0. I don't know.
I have never wanted a Florida fan to be more right than you're talking right now.
But we've seen it. I mean, it's uncommon, and that's what makes Saban the GOAT. But it's happened. I mean, there are seasons to where they have a down year and they lose 2 games. They lost to Ole Miss those years. They've lost to Texas A&M when they first came. It's possible. Not that
they
it's
lose
going to
by
happen.
19.5 points. I mean, I'm sorry.
I can't believe the spread's that big, honestly.
That's too big for
but
me.
maybe as far as I'm concerned, our season starts September 18th. So maybe I'm a little bit more down on Bama than I should be to keep my sanity. But I feel like a 20-point blowout to start the season. If Miami's even slightly prepared, you shouldn't let a team come out and blow you out by 20 points. In the first
I mean, I would be inclined to agree with that. But on the other hand, well, how diminished is Alabama? They lost a load to the NFL.
Yeah.
But that's happened before too, and they've, like he said, there's like 2 different Alabama movies. There's the one we're used to seeing, and then there's the one that, like, the little direct to DVD sequel that comes out every couple of years where they lose 2 games, 3 games. Which is that going to be? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to err on the side of safety and say that they're not going to go 9-3. But if they do, I'll be happy as pig and shit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, would I bet my money that Alabama wins? Sure. 19.5 though, man. It's and this is this
first
is
game of the season. First game of the season too, right?
Brett Lashley, he had some W's over Saban when he was at Auburn. I mean, it's not like he doesn't. They can't come up with an offensive game plan that can make him think. I mean, do they have enough talent? Do they have enough depth to handle De'Aaron King going out for a series or 2? I mean, we saw you see it to where your starter goes out. Maybe they're not hurt. Maybe they just twist an ankle, but they go out for a series or 2. What happens to Miami then? What happens when you basically just have to punt two series in a row to Alabama? That's how you end up losing by 20 points. But maybe. Oh man, what a hat! What a sight for sore eyes right there.
Is that a flower pot? What are you doing?
What is it? Wait,
it's style, baby. It's my style.
This is my favorite. The hype is real. The hype is real.
The hype is real, baby. Bless your little heart.
I got a Florida hat like that, but it doesn't fit on with my headset, so I'll have to bust it out next time.
Honestly, I would love to see Miami cover that 19.5. If both these teams annihilated each other, I mean, it wouldn't bother me one bit. The only time I've ever cheered for Alabama was in that 92 title game against Miami.
Same here.
I mean,
well, that ain't the only time I cheered for Bama, but it's one of I can count them on one hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a late cover for Bama.
Late cover. All right.
Yeah, I think Miami will hang in there for a little while.
Somebody write this down. I don't have anything.
I'm pulling it up.
All right.
I'll write it
down.
down.
Late cover.
All right. So Dren is going to take Alabama and lay the points.
Yep.
Oh boy. All right. I think Miami covers. I'm gonna take Miami and all 19.5 points. I think they'll cover. Damn it! I'm gonna need every last one of those points.
I'm thinking 21. Like I said, I think it's a late cover, and I think they barely cover.
I am going in the same boat as Mitch. Miami covers. What you got, Matt?
Man, that's tough. God, my hatred for these 2 programs runs deep. I mean, if like, where are they playing? Where is it played?
It's
Charlotte.
Is it in
Charlotte?
No, that's
Georgia. That's Georgia. Yeah.
That's Georgia Clemson.
Hang on a second. I can tell you this.
Are they in Atlanta? Are they at the
Dome? Is this the Peach? The kickoff?
What's going on here? All right, here we go. Alabama at Miami.
It's in
Alabama Atlanta. It's in Atlanta, or is it?
It's in Atlanta, though.
Okay.
Okay. I see. Yep.
It's in Atlanta.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna. I'll take Bama and give you all the points. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Just
So
if that happens, I can look up Danny Cannell and rub his face in it like a dog who just shit on the carpet, because that ACC loving goof either needs an ass whipping or he needs Miami to lose by 21 points.
By the way, in other news, the head coach at Bishop Sycamore High School has been fired.
I saw it. I almost posted it in the Bananas group. Yep, I saw it.
Don't know who that is. What is that?
That's the
Okay.
team. That's the team that basically faked their resume to play IMG Academy at the Hall of Fame in Canton and got beat 58-0. They claimed
They're
they
an
had all
online
these
only
D1
school.
These
that
D1
basically
prospects,
has
and they
a
had
bunch of like
nothing.
JUCO guys.
None of the rating agencies had any of their kids.
Oh
They're
man!
like, and the announcers are like, these guys are so fake. It's not even funny.
So Dren and I are taking Bama to curb stomp the Canes. Mitch and Ethan are going to play it safe and say that's too much. What do you folks think?
I'm still taking Bama, but you know, I think
I
Miami
like
covered.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So up next, I'm gonna throw the game on the screen. It's gonna cover you guys' faces up, but then I'll pull it down after that. So next game is LSU versus UCLA. LSU is favored by 3 versus UCLA, and let's check that. Where is that game being played?
It's out in the Rose Bowl, ain't it?
I think it's in LA. Yeah,
I believe it is in the Rose Bowl.
All right,
It's
so
a
that's a
long
big.
way to fly for Louisiana.
Yep. Here it is. LSU at UCLA. Number 16, LSU at unranked UCLA. Okay. Dren, you started off the last one, I guess.
LSU is Herb Street's sleeper.
Who do you want to go first? You want me to go?
Let me take this. Let me take.
I would take LSU -6 in this. So
Really?
I'll
So
take it,
you're willing to give away more points?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
Okay. That's a long ride.
I'll take LSU. I'll take LSU to cover 3. Cover 3. Yeah.
How does Hurricane Ida factor into this?
Will their heads be in the game? Did any of them suffer any damage, loss of family, loss of, that kind of shit?
So can I get a timeout real quick we had the same thing happen with Hurricane Matthew.
Yeah.
And we had to cancel the game with LSU. Then all the LSU fans were just apoplectic that we were dodging them. And it's like, dude, half our state just got these guys. There's like 50 people on our team whose family got affected. Mm-hmm. So I hope LSU, UCLA are a little bit more understanding and consider the options of maybe some guys need to stay back if they need, maybe you don't bring your whole team. I don't know. It's a tricky situation, but I think it 100% has an effect on them just because, they're in Dallas now, or Houston something. They moved their operations ahead of the hurricane. So they're not even at home. Their families are all underwater. The city's out of power. It's almost impossible to have a normalcy, but I still think they're going to beat UCLA by 14 points.
I honestly think this is kind of a refuge.
3, them only getting 3 to me is the most surprising thing about it. I think even with Hurricane Ida, dude, Chip Kelly it doesn't work anymore, and he doesn't have the guys he had at Oregon, and doesn't appear to be close to getting them. Give me LSU with points for sure.
And like I'm saying, I think this is going to be kind of a refuge game for them. I think they want to play this. I think that they want to get that. It's going to be there hanging over them, but they want to concentrate on something that they can actually control. So,
Matt.
I think LSU's going to beat the shit out of them.
Dang! Oh man! Am I going to have to be the guy
who's eloquent as ever?
But here's part of it. LSU has still got dudes. Okay, they had a rough time last year, but Herb Street ain't the only one talking that shit. There's a lot of our own guest, Rohan. He said, "Watch LSU's going to be." What did he say? Angry.
Yeah.
LSU's never that team that you can just say, when they're down, you can laugh, but you need to watch your back because LSU.
Saban got to LSU as the unfortunate team who got stuck with the sleeping giant that happened to be woken up by Nick Saban. LSU, even when they're down, you still can't sleep on them. They still have studs everywhere.
On tape saying that of all the teams he faced and all his years in the SEC, it was always LSU that intimidates you when they step off the bus. You're like, he said it on TV. He's like, we were looking around like, how the hell are we going to block that one
They
guy?
have what's his name, Herman Johnson, I think, who was like the biggest baby ever born in Louisiana. He was like a 15-pound baby, and he grew up into like a 6'9", 370-pound right tackle.
Now, let me tie this together for you. They don't grow them like that in California. I've been. They don't grow them like that in California. I'm sorry. UCLA has about as much a chance at being competitive in this game as I have starting for the University of Georgia. That's it.
All right, I'm gonna take
now, South Carolina might be a different story.
I might get hired as a coach and then start as QB, which is what they did this year.
I'm gonna take LSU too. I'm gonna kill the drama. I'm gonna take
Good.
LSU too. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if it is a very close game though. Anyway, here we go. Up next is ooh. I saw a thing on the internet today that said FSU has not won a meaningful game since the death of Turntle. Is that is that accurate?
Yeah, the math checks out. I mean, it was, I believe, 2018 is when it happened. So basically, all of Willie Taggart's tenure and Mike Norville's first year.
Do you folks remember, aside from Ethan, do you remember Turntle? Okay, before I tell the story, I need to tell you this, Ethan. We were driving across Maryland on the way down to D.C., and I saw a bumper sticker on a Maryland tag, their Maryland tag bumper sticker, hashtag Justice for Turntle. And dude, I was like, I gotta send. I think, did I send you that? I can't even remember. I was the thought definitely crossed my mind. Like I was driving, and I was like, I have to find my phone and Justice for Turntle. All right, so Ricky Aguayo, right, was a kicker for Florida State, and help me out. There was a kid who had a turtle in. Yeah,
they were basically at like a frat party, and Ricky Aguayo and another dude got into an argument, whatever, and basically Ricky Aguayo took the guy's turtle and ripped the shell off, and like stomped on it. And all, yeah, and
like just. Just open him up. Jesus Christ.
It made it was a pretty big deal because it was that downward trend of FSU coming really down from their peak, and you get the younger brother of one of the best college kickers ever, and he's supposed to come in, and then he kind of sucks, and then he does this really terrible thing that even FSU fans are just like, dang, really, man?
Bro,
like,
you murdered a turtle.
So are we saying this is the FSU version of the Billy Goat's curse?
Similar, yeah, but the turtle's name was Turtle. And so Turtle. And yeah, because he was a frat house's turtle.
He got turned.
Yes, he got turned. Yes.
I didn't know the story. I picked this game for us to make picks on because there was a time in this country when this would have been the marquee game on the weekends. There was a time when this would have been the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees. Even if you don't give a shit, you're tuning into this game. And when those, 93 of those two played? What was that year where it went circular and like Notre Dame beat FSU, but FSU beat somebody who beat Notre Dame, and then FSU wound up getting voted champion, but Notre Dame said, nah, we're the real champions because we beat you. I think it was 93 because 92 was BAMA. I think it was 93.
I just don't acknowledge any of their championships. They just don't exist to me.
I think it is. Okay. Anyway, point being, Florida State, as I think we've established here, is in the bottom of the septic tank. Notre Dame hasn't really been truly relevant since that game, but they made the playoffs, but they made the championship game. Yeah, they did. And both fucking times they got their pants pulled down and dookie raped because they don't have any business on the field.
Yeah. You're right. It was 93, by the way.
The Notre Dame bias is what they've been dining out on for 35 years. But at that time, then this was a big game, and so that's why I picked it to see, sort of a nostalgia pick for me. Who do you got and why?
Well, Notre Dame is favored by 7.5, so more than a score. And this is Notre Dame without Ian Book. This is going to be Notre Dame trying out a new quarterback. Is the other Kelly? Is he going to be around Notre Dame for? How long? He mentioned the other day in a press conference that I think he said his DC was going to be the next guy. He's already talking like this is going to be the next guy, changing in the guard type stuff. I don't know how much more. What I'm trying to say is I feel like that them making the playoffs last year and 2 of the previous 4 seasons, right? Like this might be what he's hanging his hat on and just saying I'm gonna go out. So maybe Notre Dame doesn't have any.
Now we're saying the guy who's just DC now, right? Not Clark Lee.
Correct. Yeah. Clark
Okay.
left for Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was the OC. I'm pretty sure it was the DC though. I have to go back and check that interview. It was pretty shocking to just hear him just sort of just lay it out there, just real bluntly. I question how much sort of like killer instinct, how much fight Notre Dame has, how much fight the Irish have this season because of that. But is FSU the team to beat them? Now, hold on a second before we start dogging on FSU.
Do I have to? Can I just start?
You are free.
You can. But what can we say about Mackenzie Milton? What can we say about? Their defense has taken a step in the right direction. I know Jermaine Johnson transferred there from Georgia. They've got a few transfers in that are going to be interesting pieces to that puzzle. I don't think they will be worse than they were last year and the past couple of years. But how much better are they? So Notre Dame's heading this direction. Florida State's heading in this direction. Have they met yet? Or have they crossed paths? I don't know. I still think that Notre Dame might be just a little bit better, and so I am going to take Notre Dame and lay the points.
Next.
I don't see Florida State putting that much of a fight here. And honestly, Mitch, you talk about, do you think Notre Dame's going to show up if they're going to, how they're going to react where they are mentally. Honestly, I think they got a little. I think they got something to prove here and got a little frustration going on. I think they might take it out on the Noles. So I'm going to. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this be a two score win for the Irish.
Okay.
So I'll take Notre Dame points.
Okay.
So FSU's not even in the same ballpark of Notre Dame at this current juncture. FSU is at least one Travis Hunter away from being competitive with Notre Dame. Unfortunately for them, Travis Hunter is a senior in high school right now.
Yeah.
He is a guy, and he is a dude who might come in and be a guy that's a dude. And, all signs point there. Mackenzie Milton may not even be the starter. I mean, Mackenzie Milton is reports have not been promising about how well he has actually recovered from his injury, and even playing against the Cincinnatis and the Memphises of the world, Mike Norvell's going to learn that he might have done it at UCF, might have done it at Memphis. Doing it against Notre Dame and Clemson and Florida and Georgia and Bama is a different conversation. And Mackenzie Milton I have zero faith in Mackenzie Milton or Jordan Travis or anybody else on that roster. Notre Dame wins by like 35 points.
Woo! Okay, one more thing. It's a Sunday night game.
In Tallahassee. I think it's going to be rocking, and I think by the third quarter, do y'all remember when that professor was reading the book during the game? FSU was getting trounced so bad. We're going to see that it's going to be a night game. People are going to be drunk. I think there's going to be at least a couple of arrests. You're going to see some pearl clutching for the Notre Dame fans by what the FSU fans resort to. It's going to get that bad.
Wow.
I'm thinking 38-3 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
So what I said earlier, a dookie rate.
Wow.
I don't know. FSU is experiencing something we dealt with during McElwain's tenure, and that is poor strength and conditioning. And when that happens, that's when you get Rick Trickett used to be loathed by the FSU fan base because he ran this very high mobility, tall, lanky offensive line. I mean, his tackles would be 280, and they're going up against 320-pound defensive ends. And that, when Bobby retired, he went out and Jimbo brought in, I think he might have kept Rick Trickett for a couple of seasons, and then finally had to show him the door because you can't operate like that anymore. You're not running the veer.
You're not running the wishbone. The guys have to be mobile to get out there and pull. And
McElwain, our strength and conditioning was a joke. Our players look like it. FSU is dealing with that same problem to where you guys have had good S&C programs. We finally got one with Bolin. We had one with Muschamp and Meyer, but McElwain did not get it. FSU is dealing with that same problem to where you got guys going on camera talking about how they don't like working out, how they don't like lifting weights.
Wow.
Offensive linemen, I can send you the video. I mean, and that's something that permeates through the scheme, through the talent on the roster. If you're not doing S&C with everybody else, you're screwed. And I think that's where they are.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to take Notre Dame to win too. And I don't know if it's 35, but it's going to be easy.
You think
of the two programs. And listen, if you didn't sense my animosity towards Notre Dame, then something is wrong with you. You should know how I feel. But between the two, if I can separate and be objective, this is not even really going to be much of a game. 30 years ago, sure. Today, this weekend, and they're playing. Where are they playing?
In Tallahassee. Sunday night game.
Well, it's going to be a sad day.
The other thing is there isn't a lot of games on TV. I mean, other than NFL stuff, right? Like that's the game. So there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it.
It's going to be rocking, and I think that it's going to be similar to our 2017 game with Michigan, to where everybody gets hyped up, and you think maybe this is the year things kind of start going in the right direction, and you come into a neutral site game against a good team and get your brakes blown off. And I think that's what's going to happen.
I agree.
The more eyeballs, the better, baby. I can't wait.
Sounds good to me. All right. Okay. Fair enough. A clean sweep there. All right. So we got a clean sweep on LSU and UCLA. Clean sweep on Notre Dame and FSU. We split on, what was it, Bama and Miami?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. How do we feel about this?
Ooh.
Ooh.
They are only separated by 2 ranking points. So I think Cajuns are 23, Texas is 21. I see this as sort of like I know it's a done deal, but for me, this is an audition for Texas. If you can't beat the Raging Cajuns, you need to take your ass back to the Longhorn Network and stay there.
Who has the most to gain from this?
Oh,
Billy
Cajuns?
Napier's bank
Billy.
account.
absolutely, Billy.
Yeah.
Napier. There's no doubt. I mean, sorry. If he could pull this off, it just proves that this guy is actually the next coaching genius, and all these, and Texas was an idiot for going after Sarkisian instead of him.
Yeah. Well,
and I honestly think that's what a lot of Texas alumni are going to say if he's able to pull it off.
Well, maybe so. The question is could anybody extract Napier from Louisiana? Is anyone capable of doing that?
Yeah.
Ted DiBiase would say, everybody's got a price, but I don't know. There's like these guys, man. Luke Fickell's a good example. Billy Napier. These guys, these names come up every year. There's the coaching carousel, and these names always come up, and somehow or another they wound up staying at these rinky-dink little schools.
I can think of two SEC teams that could take him if they needed him.
They're doing the same thing Kirby Smart did, which is you don't just jump at your first opportunity. You take a good job and you wait and you wait and you wait until the perfect opportunity.
Kirby wasn't going to turn down Georgia. He wasn't going to turn down.
No. Why go and accept Colorado
South Carolina?
Or
That's
South Carolina.
Carolina.
Why? You knew just like Billy Napier knows there's a time limit on Nick Saban. Who gives a crap if he has to wait 5 more years? He's making $2, $3, $4 million a year coaching at a place he loves. Sign me up, and then you get to leave for your dream job. Or who? Luke Fickell's another guy. Ryan Day's young enough. Maybe he's not waiting out the Ohio State gig, but maybe Jim Harbaugh. I mean, why not hang out at Cincinnati until Michigan or Penn State or Iowa? There's a lot of places he could jump to, but why just do it because? And I think people have learned from the Jim McElwain experience, the hot young G5 coach, the Mike Norvell. Willie Taggart. There's a lot of more examples, but those just ones that jumped to my mind to where you have 2 options. Josh Heupel. Who knows?
Brian Harsin.
Brian Harsin. It can work. But you can have a G5 coach who has established himself as a head coach or a P5 coordinator. And those are really your two options. And these two guys, they're head coaches at G5 schools, but they have no rush. They're young. They're not worried about taking some second or third tier job they're never going to win at when they can wait and get a premier program. Their brand's not going to get hurt.
So what about imagine a Cajuns win. Let's imagine that for a second. How much does Napier's stock go up? I mean, it's already sky high, right? Like, people want this guy, right? So how much does his stock go up with a win over Texas? Is this a big game for them? I
think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they've recognized this guy's a good coach. He does a good job with his team. They've given them the ranking, which they've never really had in the past. This is just, I mean, if they win, it just solidifies the fact that that he is who everybody says he is.
Let me put another log on the fire for you. Yeah. Guess who Texas plays next week?
Oh, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Got to have Rowan on for that one, man.
I'll do my best. The thing is, like, if Texas is looking at Arkansas, because Texas definitely sees Arkansas as a big game. If Texas is looking at Arkansas, the Cajuns might catch them upside the ear, So,
well, I mean,
what was the spread again? 8.
8.
Yeah, flat 8. A full score.
I will lead us off here, short and sweet. I cannot name a single player on the Ragin' Cajuns roster. Off the top of my head, I can't name a single player on the Texas roster. Because of that, I will take the better coach to cover. I'll take the Ragin' Cajuns with -8.
Okay, so you got the Cajuns.
I think Texas
and
wins.
8.
I think Texas wins, but I think they cover.
You got 8 points to play with. All right. I like that pick a lot.
But one thing that just popped in my mind: the Ida effect is the same with these guys as with LSU. I do think they have a little bit more fight in them. I think that they're going to have that clear underdog role, whereas LSU might have that we're the better team, we're going to come in and you overlook your opponent. But that notwithstanding, I think they cover still.
I mean,
it's at Texas too, by the way. It's at
good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Even more of an underdog.
Minus Texas, -3. I might put my money on Texas, not at 8 points. I think it's going to come down to the wire, and I think maybe Texas gets lucky with a field goal at the end of the game. I'm with Ethan on this one. Napier is, until Sarkisian proves he can actually get the job done. I'm gonna go with a guy who I know is the proven coach. I'm gonna go. So,
Mr. Ducati, how do you feel about these Cajuns?
I'm inclined to agree. We haven't seen Sark as a head coach since he was at USC. That did not end well. That was a bad situation.
Really?
He went to Saban school for learning how to coach good and do other things good.
Now,
Saban's halfway house.
It's a good point. As much hype as they got, and with Sark and coming off the momentum of leading those, historic or putting together those historic Alabama offenses, it's different when you make transition to head coach. We haven't seen him as a head coach in a while, and like Ethan said, I can't name a single player on Texas's roster. So all things being equal, if it becomes a chess match and it's coach versus coach, and we got to outsmart each other now, I'm gonna go with the Cajuns.
I mean, the line forms to the right of guys who are excellent offensive coordinators who couldn't head coach their way out of a wet paper bag.
I think the Cajuns cover, man.
Yeah.
I think they cover.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Cajuns didn't win, you guys.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I mean, at Texas kind of is making me push out a little bit by saying Texas. That Cajuns.
I think you got a lot of kids on that Cajuns roster who grew up dreaming about playing for Texas and dreaming about playing for LSU, who are playing for the Ragin' Cajuns and Billy Napier. Yeah. And I think that can light a fire in his masses. And I think that Texas, that's part of what's gotten them into this, is that kind of where Texas give us what we want. Sometimes people come into you, they come and drink your milkshake, and I think that's what's going to happen in Texas.
Robert Reynolds just sent us a message of what's causing all this. I'm not sure what all this is, Robert, but maybe it's just college football season. That's what's causing all this. I'm going to. I really just want to say Cajuns outright. Like I want to pick them with the dub, right? I'm going to take the points. I'm going to need those points to snuggle up with, give me a little comfort later at night. But I'm definitely going to ride that horse with the Cajuns. All right.
Man, I thought for sure when I let that off that I was going to be the lone defector, and then somehow we were all in unison.
I think everybody was waiting on that one to be like, "This is my chance." No.
I mean, we are the Confederation of College Football dunces here. We are crazy shithouse rats. And we have no problem with.
Woo! give us a good Ric Flair, Matt, before we get in on the on this last one.
Woo!
All right. I don't guess there's any drama what this last game is. But
that's going to be a boring one.
Boring.
I wish that JT Daniels quote was real.
Yeah. By the way,
that was the most obvious.
Did you write that yourself?
I did not. Somebody shared it, and I'm like, if it was true, okay. I didn't like I said, I was reserving judgment because there's no way this kid is that fucking dumb.
No, have you ever heard him speak? He sounds like a professor.
He sounds like a computer nerd. I mean, that's when it hit. I was like, "There's that." What I texted Mitch was like, "Is that bogus?"
Computer nerds who use the word curb stomp. I mean,
no, exactly. I've heard every word the kid has said since he's been in Athens, and he ain't said curb stomp. You don't even know what that is. He did say today, though, in an interview that he said this was the most butterflies he's felt before a football game, and he also said that he's glad he made the move to the Southeast because he said people don't feel about college football in California like they do here.
I talked about that with y'all on this show. I don't know who was here and who wasn't, but I told you my experience out there was very eye-opening. If USC's not winning national championships, they don't give a shit.
Yeah. So
Oregon gets a little crazy, but Oregon's, I mean, how many people are in Oregon? 14?
Yeah, Oregon doesn't have that same level of prestige and history. Oregon's trying to break into that, Florida, Miami, FSU kind of cemented ourselves in the past 30 years. Oregon's at that nip, they're kind of come into that new bloods era, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, Oregon sure is a pretty state. That's all I got. So,
all right, who's leading this one off?
Not me. Not me.
You got butterflies of your own.
I got butterflies of my own. I'll just be over here in the corner for at least a pass.
No,
I need to hear.
See, Mitch, out of dutiful love to certain members of his family, is probably going to have a hard time going hard one way or the other on this one because he's probably got money on it. He's probably got money on it.
No,
too.
I don't. There's no money on this. I have. Okay. We just moved into this new house, so you see my beautiful man cave behind me here. So there is no money. I am eating dry ramen noodle packets for the time being until we get these things worked out. But boy, what a man cave! Will you take a look at that?
I'll be coming to visit. That's for sure.
Come on down.
I can make the drive. It's only 9 hours.
Listen, you better get started because apparently you might need an arc to get up here tomorrow.
I got the John boat ready to go. Hence the
boy, you could probably ride it all the way to West Virginia tomorrow morning. Maybe. But anyhow, let's see. I did talk to Mikey about this, and I said, dude, I said, as a Clemson fan and, speaking for Clemson fans, what is your concern about this game? And he said, flat out, without hesitation, he said quarterback depth. He said Clemson had two guys, two backup quarterbacks who signed MLB contracts. And so they are now in a similar situation that Georgia was in, and was that in 2018 when it was Fromm backed up ably by Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
And then there was just, you couldn't do anything because you couldn't put your quarterback in a situation where he might have to sit out because you literally have nothing behind him. And there's
a reason Skylar Morning made 3 passes for the University of Florida, and that's because our first 3 quarterbacks all got injured, and it's terrifying when that happens.
Yeah.
You could always go get a grad assistant off the sideline and put him in.
Oof.
There's another backup for them who tore his Achilles in their spring game.
Right. That was the Tyson Fomachan. He was actually the backup to DJU, right? And but Fomachan, he apparently that injury was he's just been erased. We don't even know where his body's at anymore. And these other guys were supposed to be, and both of them were, high school seniors. What the hell what is he saying? It's McDonald's serving ice cream. What? Robert.
No, because the fucking machine's always broken.
So anyhow, the quarterback depth is an issue, and Mikey thinks that the stuff they're going to ask DJ to do is going to be limited. However, the stuff they're going to ask him to do includes throwing the ball a mile down the road to Justin Ross, right? He's also a little bit concerned that losing ETN and they're not going to be able to run the ball. I said, dude, you're playing Georgia. You're playing a premier run stopping defense. This shouldn't even be part of your major game plan. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Of course, you want to try to establish some sort of running threat, but if you can't, you don't have to be ashamed of that. I don't want to make my pick right now. I just wanted you to know that.
Give him a minute, guys. Give him a minute.
I just wanted you to know that I have talked to Mikey about this, and he said that was his concern, quarterback depth.
Okay.
What was the year Bama beat Lawrence? It was
20.
After watching, was it 2017?
It was 19.
2019.
That was a LSU season. So it was 17. They beat Georgia. 18. They beat Clemson.
Trevor wasn't there. Lawrence wasn't there.
Didn't Lawrence lose 1 year to Alabama though in the final?
I think he did. I think he beat them.
He
and Justin Ross beat them.
His freshman year, they beat Alabama.
He and Justin Ross.
That was
beat
2018. That was 2018.
Like it wasn't even.
No.
And then 2019, LSU beat the brakes off of them.
There was a year. What was the year that it was? The year Bama beat him in the semis.
Was it last year?
No, that was 16.
16. Okay, then 16.
But that was also not Trevor Lawrence. He wasn't there. That was
watching then.
That was
Deshaun.
Yeah. No, that was Kelly Bryant.
That's it.
Okay.
It
was Kelly Bryant. Anyway,
wow, that's the name.
Anyway, what happened is they couldn't run the ball. And
you mean Clemson?
It got all put. Yep. Yeah, Clemson could not run the ball, and it got all put on Kelly Bryant to make plays, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't stand up to Bama's pass rush. So my theory is if you're gonna beat Dabo, you got to take away the run game. I don't care how good Justin Ross is. If they can't run the ball, if they can't find different ways to get that field spread out, then I'm thinking Georgia guys. If they're gonna do it, if they're gonna win it, I think this is the year that they're gonna have to do it.
Are you talking big picture or just Clemson?
I'm talking big picture. I'm talking like going undefeated and beating.
The big picture starts with Clemson, though.
Yeah, the big picture starts with Clemson. They've got to win this one. I mean, because let's be realistic. Is JT going to be gone? Is JT a senior this year?
He is not.
I would be very surprised.
And he gets the
Even if
COVID
he's not,
year.
I'd be very surprised to see him stay.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's projected. I've seen some wild projections. He's like the first overall pick in some projections, and he's like a third rounder in some projections. He's the only prospect I've ever seen that diverse of projections for. It's pretty interesting.
They don't have a sample size, really. I mean,
it's all based off potential. Yeah.
And then the 4 games he played last year all have asterisks for a variety of reasons. They don't know.
He could have a Baker Mayfield type of year.
I mean, Jamie Newman was supposed to be a top 10 pick.
Right. Remember that, Jamie? Okay. Well, Penn State from Georgia. I guess we'll defer to our guest from Gainesville, or by way of Panama City. Go ahead.
I'm going to take Clemson here. I think that I think across the board, Clemson is one of about 3 teams that matches up with Georgia stud for stud. I think that Clemson is ready for this game. I think that Clemson, they're built for this, and they're one of 2 or 3 teams in the country that can hang with a Georgia or an Alabama. And I trust DJ Uiagalelei more than I trust JT Daniels.
I wasn't that impressed, honestly. My point is it's gonna come down to 2 or 3 plays. And yeah, and what I'm saying the exact opposite of what you're saying, Ethan. It's who do you trust to make those plays? And I trust JT Daniels to make those plays over DJ.
I mean, DJ, he looked pretty damn good in the Notre Dame game last year as a true freshman. I mean, I feel like he looked as good in his random off the bench, here you go eat shit, you're getting thrown into the fire moment. He looked as good in that game as JT Daniels did in any of his games. And JT Daniels got to be eased into it. I think DJ's the next one in a long line of really good Clemson quarterbacks. And I think that just like Trevor did his freshman year, I think he's going to come out and make a statement this weekend. I think it'll be a close game, but I think that Clemson wins by a touchdown or so.
Mitch,
I asked Mikey. I said, you got any money on this game? And he said, yeah. He said that he's got a guy who works with him who's a big Georgia fan, and he said, how many points do you think that I should let this guy have? I said, how many points does he want? And he said, the guy's asking for 12.5 points. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? 12.5? I was like, dude, don't give him 12.5. I said, but you could give him 9.5. I said, you could give him 9.5 and feel good about Clemson covering that. And here's why I say that, because it has nothing to do with Clemson's fears. It has all to do with this Georgia collection of the best possible Georgia team. And I'm talking about Darnell Washington, Arik Gilbert, even George Pickens, right? Like all those names. The best possible Georgia team will not be on the field Saturday. Okay. We have, and this is an excuse. These are reasons. All right. The injuries there's too much to overcome. Our freaking center broke his freaking snapping hand, and so once you start playing musical chairs on the offensive line, trying to find somebody else who knows how to snap the ball, you wind up changing every position on the field, So is that the situation you want to run into? Who are we playing this week? Oh, Clemson, the only arguably the only other defensive front that So flip a coin. Who's better defensively on the defensive front, Georgia or Clemson? Just flip a coin. Is that who you want to run out a fucking clown car full of offensive linemen against? No, it's not. And in order for JT and those receivers and the running backs to do the magic that they can do, it all comes down to that offensive line. And I think that Clemson will be able to consistently have their way with Georgia's front. Now, let me tell you. Let me say this. I think for that reason, Clemson's going to win the game. Having said that. If Georgia wins this game with the team that's going to be on the field on Saturday, y'all better watch out because the dogs is for real. Okay, they should not win. They should not win. My brain says Clemson should win this game, but in the interest of this game that we are all doing right now, I gotta take them dogs, baby. I gotta take them. Oh man, and the cloud to my silver lining, Mr. Ducati,
as the most realistic and mature of the Georgia I have major concerns about this game because of some of what Mitch said. I feel like to have a chance to beat the Clemsons and the Alabamas and the whoever, that group, you got to have both barrels. All right, and they both have to be loaded. And we don't have that right now. There's 4 starters right now who were figured to be key pieces to this team that are not going to be on the field. Our line is unsettled. Their defensive line is what it is. Their offensive line is not elite from what we're reading and hearing, and our defensive line is. They got a 5-star slinging the ball. We got a 5-star slinging the ball. Their guy's 6'4", 250.
Thank you.
Our guy is, coming off 4 games after an injury. I'm just, with all of these things being said and everything we've covered, I'm just not comfortable as a realistic Georgia fan picking Clemson to win this game because I think.
Wait.
What?
You're not.
I'm not comfortable picking Clemson to win this game. I think the Dogs slip in that Mike Tyson uppercut late in the 12th, stun the Tigers from Clemson, put them down, but not by much.
You mean the Buster Douglas uppercut?
There you go. Down, but not by much. Find a way to win and place that first right foot forward on the road to destiny. Now I'll get serious. Ethan mentioned that ukulele. How do I say the guy's name?
Uiagalelei.
Yeah, the best production I've had is Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei.
It's like ukulele at the end, but
Okay.
Uiagalelei.
Ukulele is going to probably come out and try to make a statement. I have to believe JT is going to do the same thing. They are built to rush the passer. We're built to stop the run. The only thing gives me pause. I'm still picking the Dogs at the end by a little.
I wouldn't be surprised to see us go to overtime.
If it comes down to coaches outsmarting each other, we've got something we got to be worried about because Kirby still has not proven himself in that regard, and that's something to watch. But
Nice.
I think look, we're not the only ones who know that it's daddy or bust, or Kirby's got some spanning to do. You can't keep bringing in these teams and not getting the job done.
Go ahead, Dren.
Oh no, you're on point. I'm going to say something here about a comment, but go ahead and finish your thought.
So 2 things. Listening to Mitch talk about the injuries and the depth, and I'm not sure if you guys saw the most recent talent composite list that came out. Georgia has 19 5-stars on their roster.
I'm looking at it right now. It's funny you mentioned
that. Averages out to over 4 5-stars per recruiting class. If you at this point don't have a solid 2 deep at every position on the field with that level of talent, that is a developmental problem.
What did I just say? Who's got some?
That is a Butch Jones level developmental problem.
That is bringing in, but Georgia has done it at a Meyer Saban level. Of Butch Jones brought in some talent that was surprising to come to Tennessee. Kirby Smart's essentially the best talent in a 4-year span that we've ever seen. Period. And if it doesn't happen this year, yeah, I'm with you, man.
Here's a stat. I'm going to piggyback.
It should work in his system.
Let me piggyback on Ethan here. Here's a stat for the layman, for the listeners. Right now, those 19 you just mentioned, that is 2 fewer 5-stars in the entire Big 12 and Pac-12 combined. Yep. Kirby Smart has more 5-stars on his team than 2 conferences combined. The pressure's on. Dogs have got to find a way to win. I think they will. And if they don't, there's going to be some planning to do.
Okay. So let's say you lose to Clemson but run the table until the SEC championship game. Let's just go there. Let's say you lose to Bama or whoever, Texas A&M, LSU, whatever. So you miss out on the playoffs, but you are 11-2, and you bring in another top 3 class. Are you saying pull the plug now? Or how much longer do you keep having that carrot dangled in your face?
I'm not saying pull the plug because we got to be careful now. We don't want to go down a dark road some of these other teams have gone down with the coaching carousel. Do you understand? Both of you understand.
Yes,
both of you understand very well. But I am saying there's been this wall of invincibility in the Georgia for Kirby Smart. That needs to come down. We need to have an honest conversation about this, man. Because if you can't get this done now, there's a developmental issue somewhere. And that has been a narrative that they've put out there. Several people have. Why do we go back? That's an impressive stat for those 5-stars. Go see how many 5-stars have transferred out.
Yeah.
Also an impressive stat.
There is absolutely no reason why the guys that Kirby is recruiting and bringing in cannot be adaptable to his system. You guys are
Oh,
talking about Butch. Butch Jones's downfall was the fact that he was bringing in good athletes, but they could not run. They were not good athletes for his system. They weren't the right guys to run that offense. Quentin Dormady was not a running quarterback.
Yeah, and
I
you
mean,
know
I know exactly what it's like to have all these guys that are supposed to be like studs not reach their potential because they're putting. I mean, even if you're a stud, you still have to be somewhat put in somewhat in a situation where you are able to succeed.
Yep. You know, and for me, Florida has not recruited as well as Georgia. Nobody has.
No.
But outside of a couple of positions, it's closer. We'll put it like that. But our offensive lines, you know, even when you compare our offensive line to the talent Tennessee has brought in, it's abysmal. I mean, you're talking about guys going down. When we have a guy go down on our offensive line, you're talking about a mid 3-star who's getting replaced by another low 3-star guy who is never played. He's a junior, never touched the field because he's just not very good. Yeah. That's where I think the angst has to come from, is that all of your rivals, all of your fans, we're all envious of what you guys have assembled. And if you don't get over the top, I mean, what motivates an administration more than having the Tennessee, Florida, Georgia Tech, Clemson? They're the ones you have to interact with, and they're the ones who will remind you, hey, you had 25 stars on your team. My team had 5, but we still beat y'all.
Yeah.
And that's what drives fans to say, you know, fire RonZook.com, right? Fire Kirby Smart. I mean, that's what constantly reminds you of his shortcomings.
All right, guys.
And his haircut. Don't forget his haircut.
I want to finish one thought, and then I've got to go. I've got to get to bed. I've got, regular.
You have a life and a job and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. By the way, very orange live stream, 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. I'll go into more. You guys are welcome to join.
Yeah.
Hopefully we will have a special guest. Working on that. No guarantee, no promises. We will go more in depth on the Bowling Green game, but to the Facebook user, probably Dargan, who said is Bowling Green going to upset?
No, he said can Tennessee upset Bowling Green?
Is Bowling going to upset Tennessee? That's how tired I am. Seriously, Bowling Green going to upset Tennessee? No.
No, I think it was other way around. No. The question was, is Tennessee going to upset Bowling Green?
I will say this. Oh, yeah, I'll leave it. Yeah, you know how I feel about that statement. I will say this: if Bowling Green scores more than 17, it's going to be a long fucking season in Knoxville. I have no doubt. I have no doubt we can hang 60 on these guys.
Wow!
Without breaking. Oh, we're going to score points.
I was going to ask you 60. What?
we're going to score points.
You think Joe Milton throws fewer than 20 picks?
As Ethan has said, Joe Milton has an absolute cannon for an arm. He's the biggest quarterback by size that we've had since Peyton. He's bigger than Peyton, taller than Peyton. He outweighs him by about 30 pounds.
Yeah, he's huge.
So I have, and he's gotten the comparison. So we'll see. We'll see. But I was the last time we played Bowling Green was in Nashville. We won 59-30. Of course, that was when Bowling Green was under the tutelage of soon to be ex-Syracuse head coach Dino Babers, who is a good offensive coach.
$12 million buyout for Dino Babers, by the way. That's why he still
gone.
has a job.
He's gone. The carrier company is going to throw some air conditioning money out there. He's going to
12 million.
I'm sorry.
12 million.
What was
Gus's buyout? Was it 38?
It was in the 30s, 35, 36, 38.
I would. We're gonna be able to go up in that. We're gonna score points this year. I have no doubt. We're gonna throw some stats out. We just got to see we just got to be able.
Your best going to be Ole Miss from last year.
Yeah. With probably more consistent. I think with more consistent quarterback play.
What? Matt Corral was the best. He's the best quarterback in the SEC.
He's,
think
he's,
Joe
prob-
Milton-
he's,
I'm liking
he's
this Milton
probably
kid.
he's probably the still the best quarterback, and I'm a
Glenn,
JT Daniels fan.
You know, I think the most apt Joe Milton comparison is Felipe Franks. And
I
if
hope not.
I'm sorry, brother, but
I mean,
there's a reason he didn't.
Okay.
There's a reason
Okay.
he had to leave Michigan, and it wasn't because he was the best quarterback on the roster.
Philly hot dogs could beat Tennessee. Okay,
He did.
You would be kicking his ass the entire game, and then he'd figure out how to throw a bomb to fucking Terrence Cleveland.
He the Cleve, baby.
Now in the Arkansas game last year, man, same thing. We let that one go in the second half. We were whooping that ass in the first half.
I'm telling you, man, Joe Milton.
It was bad. All right, well, boys, hope to see you tomorrow
Cam
night.
Newton is Felipe Franks
on the ball stream. If I don't, good luck to everybody.
Yeah, man.
And
Get some sleep, man. Have
Good
a
time.
one,
Hey, and
Good
welcome,
night, friend.
welcome back to football. We'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow, Dren.
Oh yeah.
See you, bud.
Well,
All right. Get in here, Matt. I need to say a thing that I was reminded of earlier. I didn't want to interrupt Dren there, but we were talking about Kirby, and we had a question between the two of us earlier, and I want to sort of float this to Ethan, see what he thinks from an outsider's perspective. In all seriousness, no trash. What is the least acceptable result for a Georgia Bulldogs team this season? Least acceptable. Acceptable meaning coach is not on the hot seat. Everything's fine. We're just going to keep
11-1. I think 11. Okay, that's
full season.
I think if you make the playoffs, I think that should be an acceptable. Only 4 teams can make it.
So you say the least acceptable season would be a playoff loss.
For Georgia to not have Kirby Smart, have any Izzy on the hot seat, do we need to make a hard choice here? Playoffs. I mean, you guys have the best team in college football. I mean, you have the same level of expectation as Alabama does now. And you guys have lived up to a lot of it, but you haven't gotten over that hump. I mean, it's funny to laugh and joke that, we beat you guys, and it's been 40 years since you guys won in 41 years. But the fact of the matter is that you guys were one iconic play away from changing that. And the fact that it's now been almost 3 years since that happened, all of those guys are in the NFL now. Everybody on this roster is Kirby's, and he has not been able to replicate that success. And that's when you start to say, okay, well, is this can he bring talent in, but he just can't get over the hump? You guys keep changing OCs, so you don't have a consistent offense, which has been the knock the whole time. So it's kind of a recipe for disaster to where, when just to keep, for me, 2013 Florida. 2012, we had a great year. We almost went to the SEC championship game. We lost to you guys by a crazy Jordan Reed fumble. And you guys gave Bama everything they had and almost went to the national championship game. That next year, Florida had Jeff Driscoll, our whole offensive line. Everybody was coming back, but we got decimated by injuries and ended up going 4-8, I think, 4-7, something like that.
I think you're right.
So at that point, Muschamp got another season because we had the talent, we had the pieces, but it didn't fall the way we needed it to. And then the next season we went 6-6. Then we went through the coaching carousel again. So but what Kirby has done is it's leaps and bounds above that. And what you guys have on paper, at some point, it has to mesh. I mean, it's fun to wrap, but Kirby Smart lost to McElwain. Kirby Smart's lost to Mullen, and that's not including the South Carolina 17-14 game. That's not including some head scratchers to where you're just like the Tennessee game a couple of years ago, to where they got a Hail Mary to go up on you guys, and then comes right back, and I think it was from maybe Eason, but he throws a Hail Mary, and then y'all end up.
Oh, that was
Tennessee.
the Dobson versus East. That was 2016.
Yeah.
That was the Dob
First
nail
year.
boot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you guys are there, and it's one of those things to where I think just like with Alabama was there for a while, and then Saban came, and they haven't come back down yet. I think Georgia could have a similar thing if they can get there. I mean, I think that if Kirby gets there, the next 10 years could just be all Georgia. But they're not there yet, so it's hard to say.
A big part of that puzzle is winning this weekend. You got to win these kind of games.
People
These
can
are the
tell
kind of
you,
games you got to win.
right? People can sit there and tell you
Alabama's-
that.
Go ahead, and then I want to piggyback.
Well, I'm just gonna say that the people who say that the loser's still in good shape, it's not that there's not a lot riding on it. The outcome doesn't matter. Yada yada. That's nonsense. That's nonsense because Clemson and Georgia and Alabama, they all fish in the same pond. All right. And if you are a fish in that pond, do you want to dance with the losing team or the winning team? You know what I mean? And so Georgia's already not looking like the sexy choice for these hotshot high schoolers. I mean, we had Deion Bowie, who is from Bainbridge, Kirby Smartville.
I'm pretty sure I worked with his mom.
I'm sure you do too. I taught many Bowies and the whole crowd of them down there, right? He decommitted. He's going to be an Aggie, and Big Bear, same thing. He decommitted. Now we don't know where he hasn't committed yet, but whereas Georgia was just knocking down these 5-stars like nothing. I mean, the last couple of reports we're getting, and I don't be too sad, is that 3-star. We get a 3-star offensive lineman yesterday, right? We get a 3-star. Oh God, who was it? A receiver or a defensive back a couple days ago? Seriously, a kid who I'd never even heard his name.
He had a 0-star. That receiver
yeah. That's right. That's we had a kid who had not.
Now
been,
you guys are speaking my language. This is the Mullen language here.
Yeah, the kid had not been evaluated by any recruiting services, and they're trying. We're supposed to get excited about that. We got a punter coming from Australia.
You guys are so spoiled.
We are spoiled. That's what I'm saying. We are spoiled.
It's so interesting because you guys are spoiled with you have filet mignon for dinner every night, right? But all you really want is chicken wings. And so it's like you're just being fed Primo's chops every night, but it's just not what you really want. And it's mind-boggling that Georgia Tech stumbled into a national championship. So, it honestly makes it feel like you guys are just cursed. And
right.
It's fun to rag you guys, but also logically it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Well, we're going to find out answers to a lot of questions Saturday, at least for us. Now, you folks from Gainesville, when is the showdown with BAMA?
September 18th.
Week 3, yeah.
Well, we'll have plenty to talk about that week. I don't know what's going on week 2. I think after Clemson, we kind of it's Vanderbilt,
UAB.
Good news, big
Carolina.
picture. Those pieces that are missing for Clemson, none of it's career or season ending. None of it's bad. They all have excellent prognosis. They're just not going to be there this Saturday, and they all come back. So to your point, you lose to Clemson, and you don't make you put up a good fight. If you run the rest of the season and you make the playoffs, I'd have to check that as a success.
Yeah.
But you got to start winning these types of games. If you remember, Georgia was the hot team in 2008 coming out the gate. Bama showed up at the blackout game, turned it into a funeral, and that began the ascent. That began that it was almost like they just stole, Shang Tsung'd our souls.
I'm telling you, that's been my theory ever since Greg McElroy hopped along the sideline, tiptoe along the sideline in that 2009 SEC title game.
I remember that.
That broke our backs, and Saban sucked the energy out of Urban Meyer. He did the same thing to Rick in 2008. I mean, that's why he's so powerful. Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart is
a pool of souls.
Yes, that's what Kirby Smart's haircut is for. It's the only thing that's impervious to Nick Saban's brain control.
Wow. All right, gentlemen.
It's Kirby Smart's
time tonight. I got to get out of here myself.
See you guys.
Super fun. Let's do it again next Tuesday, 9:30. Everybody, Ethan, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
I'll speak for Matt and say good night, dogs. We'll see y'all next time.